I am really delighted with this because I work with phenomenal partners and it means a lot to me to enjoy what I do, and these people are an absolute joy to work with, and I would like you to know who they are. I've already introduced myself previously, but I am Maria Cadbury. I am the Global Director of Strategic Partnerships at Say It Now, where we do phenomenal actionable audio ads.
Say that after a glass of wine.
Say it now, do it now. We're going to go downstairs and go sign it now. No, but would you like to introduce yourself, Kim?
Yes. Hi, so I'm Kim. I am the Director of Creative Production at A Million Ads. So my job primarily is to work with either creative agencies or with our in-house creative team to really make the most of data within our creative and make sure that each person is hearing the best ad possible. We make cool shit. That's what I said. It's in our values, right? It's literally in our values.
It's really hard to follow that. I make cool shit. My name is Zack Pinkham. I look after the European business for a company called AdsWizz. So we essentially build the technology that empowers advertisers, brands, agencies and publishers to all come together. So we are very much about partnering with as many people as we can so that we can rise with the tide as digital audio becomes more mainstream. So we do a lot with Million Ads, we do a lot with all agency types, from independents all through to big media agency groups. So that is me.
And I'm Michelle Sarpong. I am now recently head of digital and...
Congratulations!
Yes, so now I'm head of display and audio at the 7 Stars, which is the largest independent agency in the UK. So I like to think we was, as an agency, lent into the digital audio space quite early on. I mean, judge me if you want to, but I do believe that we actually took that stance quite early on. So yeah, that's me.
It's amazing, thank you. So we were talking about this and we're like, you know, is it the year of audio? Is it going to be like the mobile? Where it took a whole decade?
When was the year of mobile?
Was it mobile was the whole decade?
7 years.
What about now?
So I now I can remember it very well. I got into mobile advertising in 2007, and that was when there was a feature phone and you had to navigate the cursor up to the top of the screen, and if the wind was blowing the right direction, you had edge, you clicked on it, it was the most awful experience. And then that kind of built on, and I think it's sort of the year of mobile just came and went.
A decade.
Okay, so the decade. I mean, it was something in the last 10 years, but I think digital audio is there, right? I think everybody is experimenting hugely. I think brands are really taking it seriously. I think people understand how personal the device is, especially having, you know, the earphones in and being able to actually consume the content. So I'd sort of liken it very much to mobile, the whole personal relationship. And I just think that, you know, with all the cool stuff that we're doing now, all the brands, there's basically an answer for how brands can engage with that content, and I think that's really powerful. So if it's not now, it's definitely in the next couple of years as we continuously evolve with technology and attribution, which the first panel talked about. But I think that's really the thing that's going to harness it and grow into this powerful medium.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be controversial and say the year of audio was in 2020, because I think we saw with the IAB results how well audio did. Because everyone's like, oh my gosh, TV, everyone's watching more TV, but actually linear radio grew and digital audio grew massively. I think the last IAB report in 2020 was 43% of people engage in podcasts, and actually that is a massive increase. So I think while it was quite a turbulent year for all advertisers and actually agencies especially, but I think actually audio really shone through in that period, and actually it continued because I think TV, obviously we're having little inflation problems, but I think with digital audio, I think with the stuff that you guys are doing, I think actually the momentum's just that keeping going. So we joke about mobile because it was obviously a decade, because I think that was a year of mobile and it's oh, nothing happened last year. This year will be the year of mobile, but I think with digital audio, literally, it's the momentum's picking up massively.
And I think COVID definitely had a lot to do with that, because, you know, I was fortunate to live with somebody. There's people that live on their own, and you're allowed out for that 1 hour walk. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I mean, it was almost like a different lifetime ago.
Yeah.
And so when you're on your own and you're going for a walk, you generally want to engage with something else while you're doing something, right? Yeah. So listening to a podcast or audio streaming, and then you'd go out for the second walk without telling anybody and try and get away with it. So I do think that definitely built it up, and over time you engage with more.
And I think as well, what we kind of learned from the dreaded COVID is that, you know, we want that human feel, and we went back to basics with audio, not just about the way that we listened, but I think being able to trust in something that's always been around when we think back to the radio days, for example. So we kind of have gone back to our roots, and I think one thing that we've taken from COVID is keeping that human approach, because we've realized what's important, and so audio is continuing to grow because of it.
Actually, to stay on to this point and to lead it on a little, actually to develop it is because from a creative perspective, what we're seeing now in the audio space, like before people think about radio ads, how creative can you be? But when you look at digital audio, you can be really creative.
Exactly. So when you think about, you know, the possibilities, and particularly what we do with dynamic audio, of course, is you've got all this data available to you. So why would you speak to everyone exactly the same? If we go back to what I'm saying about, you know, having that human connection, there is no human connection if you are talking to everyone exactly the same and kind of blanketing them into one particular audience. So we've got the data available to us, let's make use of it, and let's go and do that with our creative. And when we start to actually think about that and all the data we have available to us, honestly, the options are endless, combining that with the innovation in audio.
And the innovation, and then, but it's personalization, because go.
No, you go.
You know,
We're so polite.
Literally so excited. Literally, what panel? But what I was going to say is actually, like, there's a real opportunity for digital audio, because actually we've seen personalisation try to be done in, like, VOD. Everyone remembers, like, the Burberry advert in VOD where literally you had the personalised bottle. I put the wrong name on there, so it didn't say Michelle, it said something else, and I was like, I should change my name on there. But I think, and we've seen that in terms of, like, the guides in terms of, like, digital display. Sometimes we've gone too personal. People are like, this is scary, why are they following me? I think this is real time in terms of, like, stuff that you guys do in terms of, like, actually that personalisation in digital audio, actually, like, talking to people in the right space, the right time, and actually really thinking about what the creative looks like is a massive opportunity, because you've seen what everyone's done and some of them have failed miserably. Yeah, and I think actually with digital audio, the way it keeps growing, I think it's a real opportunity now to just take hold of that and actually build that narrative and be like, actually we can take ownership of that personalised. Actually, digital out of home have done it as well with the whole, like, you know, weather changes and stuff like that. But I don't think that's taken off either. So I think there's a real opportunity of digital audio to really own that personalisation space and actually just take off. I don't know if you.
I agree with both of what your comments. I think, you know, going back to the mobile days, we tried to do exactly that. And you tried to change the creative so that it would be relevant and down to the audience. But I think having something that resonates with the audience is obviously going to be, you know, the engagement rate is going to be far higher.
Yeah, of course.
The campaigns are far more successful and they're far more relevant. And you don't actually mind listening to these audio ads, which then, you know, continues building on the market.
Speaking of listening to it, I mean, we've got Octave in here as well, so publisher, which is great, but you have the technology, but you also bring publishers in.
We do.
Yes, exactly.
We do. So Octave are a fine publisher of ours. Also SoundCloud over here. Who are jointly favourite. I feel like there's going to be a bar brawl now with all the beers. Beers down, gentlemen.
Literally.
But we talk about the sort of the transfer from radio into digital audio, and I think there's big opportunities there to work with various different partners to give them, you know, a blend of different publishers. I think in Europe alone, you know, you've got your main two players like Spotify and Acast from a streaming and podcast standpoint, but everybody, it's almost like the digital days, you're never going to get sacked for putting on Google, but everybody's now looking for their second and third place. So we're building out this big marketplace that allows people to not only buy across multiple markets through one seat, but engage in different brands and different publishers, content creators, podcasters, to allow them to engage in that audience. So I think that's again why we're seeing this big evolution.
And evolution, right? Evolution with tech and all of that. But what about the revenue? Where does the money come from? And it's like more to you. Where is it cannibalising traditional radio? Is it new pockets of cash?
I think it's a mixture of both. So I think it's new pockets of cash. I think one thing that digital audio did quite well is, like, they didn't go along the narrative. You know, VOD, they were like, do you know what? Like, incremental reach in your TV plan. So, like, you put 20% of your budget in there and it's done. And actually, like, I think by not doing that, digital audio kind of snuck under the radar. So it was actually like, you can buy programmatically, you can buy it through like our digital display guys, you can buy it through the rec. So actually there's so much access points that actually revenue's there. So I think, and actually lucky at 7 Stars, we've had quite a lot of entertainment clients as well, and they naturally leaned in, naturally obviously because we've got 2 music labels. They were like, oh my gosh, we love radio, we love audio. So we naturally had clients that was asking, they were like, actually what else can we do in this space? I think we were one of the first like agencies to kind of invest in the whole podcast space as well. So I think like, I don't think digital audio in terms of the revenue stream is like cannibalising anything really. I think actually it's a new audience, because I think digital audio, actually if you look at the audience, like it's not like, you know, people say like TV is really like, everyone's old watching like TV, the younger generation aren't watching it, but actually I think with the digital audio space you've got everybody. And actually, and that's the brilliant thing about stuff like podcasts, because actually like you can find that audience anywhere. So I think actually with that you're getting that new audience in. So I think the revenue streams are there, but I think actually there is a bit of trust, there's a bit of scale problems as well in terms of looking at like some of the podcasts or the streaming devices. I think there's a whole argument about there's more people that use the free version of Spotify than the paid for version. It's that argument that's still going on, but at the same time it's very much just like actually you're tapping into new audiences, the scale was getting there, it's growing. So actually I think
you're engaged.
Yeah, I definitely think 100%.
Absolutely. And I think the formats drive that as well. If you think about it, digital audio this year was 150 million or something, right? 56% growth. But compared to the 25 billion, whatever it is, that digital's worth in the UK, that's a fraction, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that radio is not suffering yet. I think what is interesting is the digital buyers starting to get into digital audio and going, hang on, there is now some sort of trackable solution that allows you to engage in the ad. There is an attribution place that allows you to actually understand the value of the listen all the way through to a purchase or click or landing page or whatever. And so I think digital is now starting to do it. And I think it is education. There's only a handful of people doing it in Europe. And so I think, by doing panels like this, which will hopefully be televised globally, people will learn about it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think actually it comes down to creative and formats. Like I think that relationship with the digital audio is becoming a lot closer. Like video is becoming quite a prominent space actually. And I think Les was talking about it actually. And I think, I'm jumping right ahead, but I think the future of audio will be like being channel agnostic. Like actually, we're not going to talk about audio. We're going to talk about video. We're going to talk about display. So I think it's an audience rather than just actual.
Absolutely, and I think from a production perspective as well, like when it comes to creating different variations that are going to kind of be personalized to every single listener, when it comes to digital audio on a production side, it's a lot cheaper to do that than it is to kind of shoot loads of different kind of scenery and different locations, etc. So from the savings that you can get from the audio perspective from production, you can invest that back into the media and truly make use of the medium.
Okay, because we're running out of time. But right, I've got this question for you. Finish the sentence. I've got the same question for each one of you, so you get a little bit more time.
No, sorry.
Kim, finish the sentence. In 2025, digital audio is
fucking fantastic.
Woo, well done.
Do you know what? I see digital audio as the Minority Report. I come down in the morning at 5 a.m. with my daughter who wants to watch Peppa Pig. And so I will put the coffee on and I will talk to Alexa. And I just love, I'm a commercial guy through and through, so I want to be sold to. And so I don't want to go online and search for whatever. I want to, at that time when I've got 5 minutes, have some sort of actionable engagement with a speaker. So I can talk about, travel or air or food or whatever it is. And if you can actually get that bit right and have that one-to-one communication with something that's so personal, that's it for me. And I think
that's it now. Do it now.
Absolutely. Sign it now. And I think, as Peter Kay once said, it's garlic, it's bread, it's the future.
Yes, love it.
Well done.
Love it.
Well done. I did actually just jump ahead and actually say what I thought digital audio would be, but I think it'll be channel agnostic. So I think actually we'll just talk about formats rather than actually just like, it's a digital audio and relate it just back to like almost traditional radio. I think like we'll look at video, display, and actually plan and buy based on that.
That is it.
Hey.
Thank you so much. I've absolutely loved it.